Welcome to Journey with Lay podcast. We discuss leadership, culture, and how to take your business to new heights. Your host, Lay Wang, is an adventurer, motivational speaker, and executive coach. Join us each week to learn how you and your team can reach your highest aspirations. Now, let's get started with the show.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Journey with Lay Leadership Podcast. This is a place where purpose-driven leaders come to learn how to step into that authentic leadership role that resonates with their hearts and souls. I'm your host, Lay Wang. As an adventurer, motivational speaker, and executive coach, I believe if you dare to dream it, you can achieve it. Join me every week to learn how you can reach your highest aspirations while living an exciting and balanced life, so you can take your teams and business to new heights with ease and grace. Now, let's go. So today, I'm super excited because I'm a newcomer in terms of the podcast. So I'm launching my first podcast, and today's guest is also her first podcast interview, which is super exciting. And this guest is my friend, Susan Seah. I met Susan just a year ago, and that time my first impression, wow, this woman is the energy powerhouse. And she's very modest. She didn't tell me too much about what she's doing. I only know, she's a lawyer, she's the General Counsel for some public-private companies. And I know she's the founder of a club called Koa Club, which is a women's leadership club. So that's all I knew about her at that time. Then later on, I get to know a little bit more about her. Especially before this podcast, I get to see the full bio. I said, wow, that blew my mind. So today we are going to have a lot of fun. So Susan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Lay, for having me on the podcast. I'm very excited to be here. And I think I mentioned it to you. This is my very first podcast I've ever done. So don't know what to expect. And as I said, please be gentle with me. But I'm excited to be here. Thank you again. And also, quick question for you, back to you really quickly is, what is the purpose of your podcast? So that, just for my understanding.
That's a great question, because a lot of podcasts come on my show, just so happy to be on, and then we're surprised by all the questions I'm bombarding at them. So now you'll see Susan is so smart. So I started the podcast because as a coach, I was trying to help people to find their excitement in their life, in their career. And a lot of time I found the reason people are not happy with their life, with their career, is not because they really don't want to work. Oh, not everyone wants to travel the world. Not everyone wants to just go to do the extreme sports or start their own business. Not everyone just want to keep on switching jobs. They want to be happy at their workplace. However, they are not, because there are a lot of things we need to do to change the cultural environment in the organization so people can find fulfillment at their work. So this podcast to help to inspire leaders how to create an environment that is fostering growth, inspires the employees, motivates the team. So everyone is happy, employee work at their maximum productivity, have a fulfilling career, and leaders, you are really growing the next generation of leaders. You taking your business and the organization to the next height. So that's the whole motivation behind this podcast. And thank you so much for asking this question.
Oh, no, thank you for telling me that. I mean, it's great. I know that you are very passionate about leadership and helping leaders get to the next level, helping leaders to be happy with where they are, so that they can be the best that they can be. So thank you again. I don't know what I can contribute to that conversation, but I'm happy to be here.
You're so loud. So because I started my coaching career because a big transformation in my life, because I used to work in the corporate, and then I had a daydream to go climb mountains, that I became the first Asian woman to climb the 7 summits and ski to the North Pole and the South Pole. That totally changed my life trajectory, that I got into motivational speaking, got into coaching. So I changed from someone who is engineering minded, working in IT, in finance, to become someone who is working with people all the time. I constantly think about how to motivate people, how to get better performance, how to make everyone's life better. And you had a very interesting life. And I know you had a law degree, but you started a club called the Koa Club to empower women. And I know you played a lot of different sports in the past. I just learned, oh, you did an Ironman within 1 year of learning how to bike and all the, and you also did the bodybuilding contest. So I want to understand what are those, like how those sport activities inspired you to get into your profession, get into your launching a Koa Club, or because then everything is linked together from what we do outside work to inspire us to perform better at work.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Everything that you do in your life is connected. And I have to say that probably I just going to the part about, the sports part of it, to take it back, originally I am terrible at being in sports. Like I don't really do any sports to begin with. People used to laugh at me when I was living in Chicago, where even if I just go down 2 blocks, I have to take a taxi because I can't walk to the other.
I was the same way before I started climbing.
Yeah, it was really funny. And then over time, it was actually by chance that I got I went to an auction, a silent auction, where I got I guess I competed for a prize there, and then I won one of the prizes, which was to do trail running. And at that point in time, I thought, well, I wasn't really going to show up because it wasn't something I would do. But then the coach called me and asked me to show up. And because he called me, I said, okay, I'll go check it out. And once I went to check it out, I realized that it's something that I want to try, something new I want to try. I've never tried before. So from there, it led to, training for marathon, because I got talked into it by people who I became friends with. They're like, you can do a marathon. And I was like, okay, I never ran that far, but I'll try it. So I did a marathon. And then from there, my friends from the marathon said to me, you need to do a triathlon. And at that time, it was funny I didn't think I would do it because I didn't really know how to swim and I didn't know how to ride a bike. But then, and then they said, you can learn it, it's easy, you can learn it. So I got talked into it. So I did go and do my triathlon training.
Where you have such great friends.
I know. I think they just want to all be tortured at the same time together. So,
I understand how you were going through that, because when I started climbing, I did the same thing. Like, I have no idea what do you mean by a snow mountain. Look at the picture behind me. That's actually was the first mountain, snow-covered mountain I climbed. Before I went there, I had no idea. When I think about a snow-covered mountain, I'm just thinking just a little hill in the park. Yes. I never thought a mountain can be this big. So yeah, I totally understand what you were going through. Yeah, continue, please.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's great. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, we don't know what to expect until we just go give it a try, right? I mean, the most you can try, and then if it doesn't work out or you hate it, then you can stop doing it. So I thought I'll give it a try, and then once I was into triathlon, within a year, I decided, hey, if you're gonna do a triathlon, you might as well go for the big mama, which is the Ironman. Let's just go do it. And
that's unbelievable.
Well, it's just like you doing the 7 summits. I mean, that's amazing. I don't even know anybody. I don't know anybody in my life who has done that. So, I mean, there's some people I know who has done some summits, but not what you have done. So when I first met you or heard about you, actually, I thought I have to meet you because you are like amazing to me to have done that.
Thank you. If I knew you did Ironman, I'd probably be hiding, not going to meet you.
No, but I'm glad. I mean, and then just to go back to it, because I did I have to say, once I completed the Ironman, I thought there is nothing ever again in my life where I thought I could not do, because I thought, because if I was able to successfully do that, I could successfully tackle any challenges along the way. It's just a matter of figuring out like how best to deal with it. It's whether it's work, whether it's personal life, whatsoever. I think for me, doing that sport of doing the Ironman really opened my I guess my views about life in general, made me very, very much more confident in life, I would say. I'm going to say, like, you don't have to go do an Ironman to be that. You don't have to go climb 7 summits to be that. I mean, I think if you do it, and I always tell people now, if you do anything, that you should always celebrate all the little successes that you have, because all of it builds along by itself, right? I mean, is that, Lei, what do you say to people when they're saying, oh, but I can't do an Ironman, or I'm not planning to do one, or I'm not planning to climb 7 mountain summits? How can I get that kind of confidence that you both say that I have or you have? What would you say to that, Lei?
Yeah, I'm totally on the same page with you. When I started out doing the climbing, I frankly say I literally started out as a daydream, because at that time I literally didn't think it's possible. But I was thinking, I'm going to shoot for the moon so I can land on the star.
Yes.
And the moon, yes, is Everest. The star is a gym. I was thinking, if I say I'm going to go climb Everest, at least I can go to the gym every day. At least I can go out to run every day. So that was the little star I was trying to land on. And then just one step lead to another. So when I look back, it's not really how big that goal. It's just every step you're taking push you outside your comfort zone. It's something you don't think you can do. Like when I first started climbing, I was living in Boston. At that time, I was thinking, it's impossible for me to even get outside the door. If you have ever lived in Boston in the winter, the snowstorm covered the whole city. And I was living in Back Bay, only 3 blocks away from Charles River. But for the first winter, I was thinking 3 blocks. That's so far. So for the first whole winter, I didn't even get to see what Charles River looks like. I was like, that for me is too far away. Like you, I lived 1 block away from subway station. I live 1 block away from a restaurant, a grocery store, from anything. I can, within 1 block, I'll get inside some building. I'm not going to be outside for 3 blocks.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so even the first step to say, be able to go outside to run along the river in the winter, that was a huge win for me. And for someone who did Ironman, just running around the river for 2 miles was a big deal. But that was a big step. So I totally agree with it. Everything we do is not how big that is compared to what other people are doing, but it's how big that step is compared to yourself, where you were taking one giant step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I totally agree 100%. It really is. You shouldn't compare yourself to anybody, for sure. It's whatever your step, and it's baby steps. Take baby steps, it's fine. And every little step that you completed, it's going to be something that is taking you closer to the next level, next step of whatever you want to accomplish or you achieve. So that's sort of my take on how sports associated with the rest of my life.
Yeah. So when I was climbing, one thing I keep on thinking is like how the lessons I learned in climbing can apply to my life, and how that can be applied to helping other people's life. For example, like that motivates me to figure out what drives me. Then I think, okay, what drives other people? How I can motivate other people, strive for their aspirations to achieve their goals. So I wonder, how did your sports hobby or passion, whatever you call it, that inspired you or helped you to find the passion in your work?
Okay, sorry.
Oh, you are on mute.
Oh, sorry. My dog was barking, so I didn't even want to tell. She always barks at the whenever I get on the conference call. So yes.
They want to be on the show, maybe.
Yeah, I know. They're like, well, I know mommy's on the call, so I have to bark. So any case, so how did sports? Your question was, how did sports?
How did the lesson you learned in your sports life that carried into your professional life that help you to help other people?
Yeah, I think what that for that question, it is, for me, I feel that because I feel like in sports, you learn to the number of things from sports, right? That I think you can probably relate to it is that you visualize, what, the end game is. That's where you kind of visualize. So for me, in that respect, for my work, I visualize where I want to be in my career, where I want to be in my goals. Not maybe not like all of it, but at least parts of it where I can see where I want to go from there. And then just like any sports, right? There are going to be times when it's going to be when you're doing something. This is like when I'm doing the Ironman on a marathon. I'm going to be very excited about it at first. Then in the middle, when I'm slugging through things, I'm going to be like, oh my God, why am I doing this? I must be an idiot for trying to do this. But you slug through it, and then you just persevere. I think perseverance is very important. So if you persevere, then at the end, at the end of it, you get closer and closer to your goal. And I think that when you can see your goal really close by, then you are going to be, revitalized again. And to get to the end, you just make yourself go through the end because you get energized at the end. So I look at my work life very similar to how I would look at my sports life, like I'm doing a marathon. Like anything to me is like doing a marathon in a way. So I don't know, what does that, do you relate to that at all?
Yeah, totally. Like, so in the work, I just found like people are talking about overnight success and everything, but the truth is that building any business, doesn't matter how big, how small that is, it takes a lot of endurance, a lot of perseverance, persistence, and you have to keep on getting started again and again. You try this, doesn't work, try that, doesn't work. You have to find your way through. So I think the sport really gave me the stamina to know, okay, that's just normal. If success is so easy, everyone will be successful. So that's why we have to persevere through, no matter what's the setback, what's the roadblock ahead of us. And the sport gave me the perseverance, knowing, okay, I know I can survive. I'll keep on going. I'll find a solution. It will always work out.
Exactly. Because yes, as in work, as in sports, as in life, you're going to have challenge. You're going to face challenges. You're going to have obstacles. And sometimes you have unexpected obstacles, right? That's going to happen. Like in the middle of my run, I might suddenly have stitches and I'm like not expecting it, but I get it. And then I just have to deal with it, right? I try to think of ways to fix that problem, but still continue one foot at a time going forward. And that's the mindset I think I try to take it to work. I mean, there are times when I think to myself, geez, this obstacle looks to be insurmountable, but nothing is insurmountable. I mean, I might think that, but then immediately I tell myself must be ways to go past this obstacle, whether it is engaging other people to help me with dealing with it, or just finding ways and solutions. There's always solutions to everything. So not to give up. I think the key thing is not to give up and just keep working at it. So that's my 2 seconds advice on.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And since this is a podcast about leadership, I really want you to share the story behind the Koa Club. What inspired you to start that club, and what is that club about?
Okay, so the Koa Club is actually I just would say a global community of women achievers. So when I say women achievers, it doesn't necessarily have to be you don't have to necessarily be a woman achiever in your career. You can also be an achiever in your personal life. It's just, when I say achiever, it means somebody who's not afraid to take on more, learn new things, take on challenges, take on opportunities to grow, right? And also take on opportunities to support other women as well. So I wanted the club of the community of women who can really inspire each other. So through the club, the club is relatively new. We started it near the end of 2019, and then the pandemic hit. But then we were able to morph into, originally it was an in-person club, but then we morphed it into a online club. But once we became online, everything was online. We actually were able to expand our membership to not just in Seattle, but really now we have members all over the US and even in some other countries as well, which is great, because then we the diversity of the women is even richer, and the experiences and the sharing of the stories we get is even richer. So we really appreciate that. So that's how and the basis also behind the club is that I wanted women to not just learn to grow only in the professional life, right? So the club, we curate a lot of events and talks around not just leadership stuff, but also life skill stuff. So my belief is that everybody, particularly women, should be well equipped in all sorts of skills, right? I mean, it's always good. You never know when you need a skill, like, for example, how to change your car tire. Like, how do you know how to change your car tire? Yeah. So we might have somebody have a talk about that. And then it's not, maybe you don't need to do change your car tire today, but who knows when that might happen, right? So learn that skill, or, some other skills that we have, and so we try to make it very interesting by having different kinds of talks, and then, of course, there's a lot of women in our club who are professionals or entrepreneurs. So they are very interested in their careers, obviously, and their professional growth. So we also have a lot of talks related to where I believe that Lei did a talk for the Koa Club, and the talk that you gave was, is it better to be nice or to be tough? Remember that talk that you gave for the Koa Club, which was so well received? Yeah, that was a great topic, because particularly for women, right? I mean, it's like, the expectations of women being, you have to be kind of nice, or not necessarily. If you're not that nice or you're aggressive, then you get pegged to be a certain way, and it's not fair, but it happens in life. So it was really great for that talk that you shared. Maybe you can share like a tip or two for your podcast on that subject.
Yeah, definitely. Later on, I definitely will share more about the leadership, the tips that we gather from our practice that working with the clients. So here, actually, I want to tap your brain a little bit more is what kind of challenges you see those women leaders are looking for more help, they need more information, or need more coaching, or what kind of help, what kind of challenge they're working on?
What kind of challenge? That's a little bit hard to say, only because it depends on personalities of the women, and also where they are at in their life, in their career. So I think that as women get more senior in their career, they tend to want more one-on-one coaching, because they have very, very specific issues that they want to work with a coach on, rather than if somebody was younger and just starting out in their career, they just have a lot to learn. So a lot of it they can learn at work, but a lot of this I would call the soft skills, like things like confidence and getting rid of self-doubt, imposter syndrome, that kind of stuff. It's good for them to be able to go to talks, as many talks as they are. I actually highly encourage, if you're young in your career, it's good to go and learn as much as you can, because I wish I learned all that stuff when I was younger, because I would have suffered less in my career if I knew all these things that I know today. Right. So I always encourage women, as they are young in their career, or even their mid-career, that they do that. When they are more senior in their career, it's a whole different ballgame for them. It's a matter of then, how do they deal with all the C-suite type issues, right? So yeah. So that's kind of like how it all depends on where they are in their career. And also some women are more comfortable with one-on-one coaching and talking to somebody about it. Some women, would rather just be, in one of the numbers of people, itself. So I don't know, what is your experience, Lei?
Yeah, definitely. I do see I totally agree with you on the younger professional women, actually, because I also work with men. So I found that it doesn't matter your gender. It's like the younger generations, yes, especially during pandemic, they suffer more because normally they didn't have a strong family support, because older professional people, normally they had a family already. So they were stuck at home, had someone to talk to. A lot of young professionals were alone at home and new into a job, new into a city. So suffer a lot on the mental side. It's very challenging for them. So I do see the young professionals need a lot more support on how to stay healthy mentally and physically, because they are very active. Without the physical activity, their mental health suffers a lot.
Yes.
And also how to navigate the corporate environment, how to grow their professional career. At that time, they were kind of loud because they're trying out this career, trying out that job. They were not sure if this is the dream one for me or this is where I'm destined to go. So they have a lot of questions. I do see a lot of seminars, workshops that was very helpful to the young professionals. And the older, I shouldn't say older, so like more senior professionals, they definitely are more in line with their heart, their soul.
Yeah, for sure.
More connected to that. So they're kind of more confident in knowing where they're going, but they also have some kind of fear that feel like oh, I'm a little bit late in this game already. Or am I not advancing fast enough I'm supposed to be at this level already, but I'm not there yet. There's a lot of anxiety of how to advance their career at a higher senior level.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And with the younger men or women if you're younger in your career, newer in your career, I would say one of the most important things that they ought to do is seek out mentors and sponsors in your organization. Learn how to do it appropriately so you don't scare off your potential mentors and sponsors. There are ways to do it. There are a lot of talks out there about how to do that kind of stuff, but I think it's so important in their careers that they know how to do that. Then they have the support to be able to help them with guiding them, mentors to help them guide in their career, sponsors to help them really, because sponsors are the people who have actual influence in the organization that they're at. So sponsors can help them, get to the kind of assignments they want, or put them in, more kind of projects or things like that could really help propel their career. So I think that those are important things to do. And as you said, senior, more senior, it's again when you're at the top or near the top, it's a matter, I think, that trying to make sure that the kind of leadership, the type of leader you are, you want to be a trusted leader, right? You want your team, your people under you to trust in your vision and trust in where you're going to take them, right? And I think that there are so many different tools and strategies to do that. And understanding how it all works, I think it's important. And then managing, and as they always say, at the top is a lot of, I deal with women all the time because of the Koa Club. So I look at it from the lens of the women. So I apologize for the men that I'm not able to represent them in my thoughts about it. But so for the women, I think when you get near the top or to the top, it's mostly men that is your peers. And so how do you stay up there and have and be visible in that, in being up there and having your what you say be of equal importance as everybody else up there. So I think that's something that maybe some women struggle with. Hopefully, they'll get the kind of support that they need, either from personal coach or from, other people in the organization, other women peer in their leadership role, that they can give each other support. I think that's really important as well. So I don't know, Lee, do you think that makes sense?
Definitely. I think the one big difference of the environment right now versus 10, 20 years ago is the coaching help becomes so available to whatever level you are. I remember when I started my career, I know I need to find a mentor, but where do I go? Where to find a mentor? But now it's so easy. You can, and people have more open-minded and knowing it's okay to seek help.
Yeah.
coaching help is not for people who are poor performers or who cannot handle something. Coaching is a shortcut to advance your career faster, easier, and you'll have a balanced life. So people are more open to that. And so I definitely encourage people, no matter which level you are, definitely you should reach out to get help. Try, because that's really a shortcut.
Yeah, and you don't have to wait till an issue pops up too. It's sometimes a lot of it is just helping you prepare, in your role or be better at your role itself. So you can just go talk to a coach sooner rather than later. I would say if you think that that will be helpful for your career. I mean, don't wait till you think there's a real issue before you go talk to a coach. You can always use it, like how they have being prepared when you have medicine, right? You go see it. You don't want to wait till you go have your physical exam, once a year or whatsoever. You don't have to talk to a coach all the time, but at least if you have a good coach that you trust, like you're a great leadership coach. And so you can talk to, and then you can just always work with somebody in terms of, helping them, not necessarily having to tackle a specific issue, but just in general, so that they can feel confident about themselves and what they do, right? So
exactly. Yeah, what I describe, so people sometimes confuse coach with therapist. Therapy is trying to, if you have a problem, therapy trying to help you solve it. But the coach, so for my style, I would say I'm a coach to help you go from good to great. So it's not like some people say, oh, I'm perfect, everything great, I don't need help. Actually, that's exactly when you need help, because when you're good, that is a very dangerous spot, because you can be complacent, that can hold back your growth. And when you're at a good position, you seek help, you can your growth can be explosive. You can just exponential growth from there. So I would say coach to help you to go from good to great, to become greater even. So seek out help even when you are in the perfect spot already.
Yes, absolutely. Totally agree 100%.
Yeah. And so that come back to my favorite question because we're going to run out of time. So my favorite question to closing out the podcast is I like to ask, so who are your inspiration, like your coach or your mentor or someone influenced you in your life?
I actually have a lot of people that has influenced my life. I mean, a lot of people who have inspired me, all different parts of my life. I mean, going from actually it's so weird because somebody asked me the same question yesterday, my answer was, one of the biggest influence I think in my life is my older sister. Because to me she is amazing in how resilient she is, and the fact that she, no matter what and how life knocks her down, she gets right back up, and not only just get right back up, she makes it even better than she was before, in her work, in her life. So it's just amazing to me how resilient she is, and yet, at the same time, she's a businesswoman who's very successful in her career, but at the same time, she's also a great mother. She is a mother of 4 girls, and through her being a tiger mom kind of, but all her daughters are three are doctors now, and one is in performing arts that she loves, and which is, I think, is fantastic. So I don't know how she did it, but I don't know how you did it with 4 girls and get them to where they are, but it's amazing. Plus her having her very successful career, so she's a big inspiration in my life, and today so many other people are inspiration. You are an inspiration to me, Lei, for the things that you share with me, the things that you tell me, the fact that you climbed 7 summits. I will just always bow down to you. How in the world did you do that? But yes, so many people, I have to say, so many people are inspirations to me and really influence me.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. Yeah, so actually, because I ask this question every time in my podcast, and I learned a lot. Is a lot of time the people who inspired us most is a person who actually almost like our just a person, a simple friend in your life, or a person you grew up with. It's in your everyday life. So that makes me want to say to our audience is, yes, everyone around your life, in your life, inspiring you. So I encourage you to think about what you do every day to inspire other people. So I encourage everyone to live your life boldly, have a great, exciting life. That's the inspiration to people around you. So together we inspire everyone to have a greater life, more exciting, happier life and a career.
I totally agree. That sounds great. I mean, everybody should go and live their life boldly. That's something I always say. Live your life boldly, but always be kind to yourself and to other people. So that's the bottom part.
I love how you summarize that. Be bold and be kind to yourself and others.
Thank you for listening to Journey with Lay. What's your most valuable takeaway from today's episode? What is one step that you are inspired to take? Start tapping into your power of excitement and become the leader you are always meant to be. If you dare to dream it, you can achieve it. Go to journeywithlay.com or email hello@journeywithlay.com. We'll see you again next week.